President Donald Trump's administration is moving to dismantle the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, the very agency that his wife and daughter championed just a few years ago. The president has threatened to eliminate USAID, an agency that provides humanitarian aid globally. Earlier this week, Elon Musk, head of the Department of Government Efficiency and Trump's first buddy, targeted the agency, calling it a criminal organization and adding, "Time for it to die." In response, the White House announced Friday that it plans to retain just over 600 of the agency's 10,000 employees, slightly more than the 300 originally slated to remain. These recent developments sharply contrast with Melania and Ivanka Trump's actions during the president's first term, as reported by ABC News. In the fall of 2018, Melania Trump embarked on a solo trip to 4 African nations: Egypt, Ghana, Malawi, and Kenya. When announcing her trip, she highlighted her collaboration with USAID, saying, "There are many programs across the country that are doing great things for children, and I believe we can replicate many of these programs overseas. This is why I am pleased to be working closely with USAID as I prepare for my first major international trip to Africa." While in Egypt, Melania thanked President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for hosting her and praised USAID's work. She spoke about the preservation efforts at the base of the Sphinx, saying, "We must always do our best to preserve such important historical sites, and I was so pleased to learn of the work that USAID has done to help with preservation efforts." In Malawi, she visited a school supported by USAID where she met teachers, students, and parents. She oversaw the donation of soccer balls, classroom supplies, and 1.4 million textbooks. Melania also spoke about the importance of educating and empowering youth, praising USAID's ongoing efforts to increase access to education in the country. It's uncertain what role USAID will play in Africa moving forward, as plans showed only 12 people were slated to remain in the region. In 2019, Ivanka Trump, then a senior advisor, led the Women's Global Development and Prosperity Initiative, aimed at empowering 50 million women in developing countries by 2025. She directed USAID to allocate $50 million to support the initiative. At the time, Ivanka told ABC News, "We know there's a correlation between gender inequality and conflict. It's in our domestic security interests to empower women." However, a White House memo this week criticized USAID, stating that for decades it had been unaccountable to taxpayers and accused it of funneling money into ridiculous and, in many cases, malicious pet projects of entrenched bureaucrats. The memo also declared that under President Trump, waste, fraud, and abuse ends now. When asked about the shift, a White House spokesperson placed the blame on the previous administration, saying Joe Biden enabled millions of dollars in waste, fraud, and abuse at USAID and across the federal bureaucracy. President Trump was given a mandate to cut spending that does not effectively use taxpayer dollars or align with the America First agenda, and he is delivering.